Look around you. No one is coming not to rescue you, not to carry your weight, not to make your dreams real. You can keep waiting for the right moment, the perfect conditions, the magical push. But here's the truth. Most people will never say out loud, you're it. You are the plan. You are the backup plan. You are the emergency contact for your own life. And I know that's heavy. I know that's not what you want to hear, but I promise you, it's the most freeing thing you'll ever understand. Because the moment you stop waiting for someone else is the moment you finally meet the strongest, most capable version of yourself. So if you'll walk with me for the next few minutes, I'll show you exactly why that truth isn't just powerful, it's necessary. Stay with me. Because this might just be the wake-up call you've been waiting for. Let's start here. Because this is the foundation of everything. There comes a moment in every person's life when they realize the cavalry isn't coming. No one's riding in on a white horse with the answers. No one is handing you a roadmap with all the shortcuts neatly laid out. And as uncomfortable as that might sound, it's actually the most liberating truth you will ever accept. You are responsible for your life. I know when you hear that, part of you might feel overwhelmed. Another part might want to push back, say, but you don't understand what I've been through. You don't know what they did to me, right? You don't know the pain, the setbacks, the trauma. And you're right, I don't know every detail of your story, but I do know this. Whatever happened, it's valid. It matters. Your pain matters. Your past is real. But your future, that's still being written. And if you keep letting your past write the pages, you'll never get to see what your life could really become. Radical ownership isn't about blame, it's about power. It's not saying it's your fault. It's saying it's your move. The second you accept that nobody is coming to fix it, nobody is coming to do it for you, you shift from a place of helplessness to a place of unstoppable force. Because if you caused even 1% of it, or you tolerated it, or you accepted it, then guess what? That means you also have the power to change it. You can create something entirely new from this point forward. But only if you decide to. Most people spend their lives stuck in the waiting room, waiting for someone to apologize, waiting for validation, waiting for motivation, waiting for that perfect opportunity to knock. And I'm here to tell you, that door, it's not going to open unless you kick it open. You have to be the one who decides that enough is enough. How long are you going to wait to become who you were meant to be? How much longer will you delay your power just because you're hoping someone else will finally see you, finally understand you, finally give you permission? No one is coming to grant you permission. You have to give it to yourself. You have to be the one who says, this ends with me. The pain stops here. The excuses stop here. The cycle ends now. I'm taking control of this story. I'm writing a new chapter. And when you do that, when you step into radical ownership, you'll feel something inside you start to wake up. It's been there all along, but buried under fear, under doubt, under conditioning. It's the voice that says, let's go. We're not waiting anymore. That voice, that's the real you. You don't need to be fixed. You need to be unleashed. You don't need more motivation. You need a decision, a clear, burning decision to stop looking around and start looking within. Because when you look in the mirror and realize that the only one coming to save you is you, you start moving different. You stop blaming. You stop complaining. You stop waiting for perfect. You get hungry, you get resourceful, you get creative, you find a way. And from that place, everything starts to change. Your energy changes, your habits change, your standards change. You begin to carry yourself with the posture of someone who knows that they are the answer. Look, you can't control every outcome. Life will still throw punches. But when you take full responsibility, even for what wasn't your fault, you gain access to something most people never touch, certainty. Not certainty in the world, but certainty in yourself. And when you've got that, nothing can stop you. So no more waiting, no more stories, no more rescue fantasies. Nobody is coming. It's always been you. Let's get real about something. Waiting is a trap. And it's the most seductive trap there is because it wears 1,000 disguises. It tells you, just hold on, the timing's not right yet. It whispers, you're not ready. You need a little more clarity, a little more confidence, a little more money, more support, more certainty. So you wait, you stall, you overthink, you second guess, and slowly, without even realizing it, you start handing your life away, moment by moment, day by day, because you believed the lie that waiting will somehow make the leap easier. That life will one day roll out a red carpet just for you, and when it does, then you'll move. But that moment never comes. Because life doesn't reward hesitation. It rewards movement. It rewards boldness. It rewards people who decide not when they feel ready, but when they're done being stuck. There are people in this room who have been carrying a dream for 5, 10, even 20 years, still waiting for the right sign, the perfect alignment. But let me ask you something real. What if the only sign you ever needed was this moment? What if the delay isn't divine timing, it's just fear dressed up as logic? People love to say, I'm waiting for a sign, but what they're really doing is avoiding discomfort. They're avoiding the fear of failure, the fear of judgment, the fear of not being enough. So they wait, convincing themselves that one day they'll magically feel brave enough. But courage isn't something you wait for. It's something you build by acting in spite of fear again and again and again. I'm telling you right now, the longer you wait, the heavier it gets. Not just the dream, but the regret. Every time you say, I'll do it tomorrow, your soul hears, it doesn't matter today. And after a while, you start to believe that. But let me be clear, you are not running out of time, you are running out of chances. Every moment you delay is a moment you could have been building momentum, creating, learning, growing, becoming. And the truth is, you'll never feel ready. The only way to be ready is to move, because motion breeds clarity, action builds confidence, but waiting only builds rust. Look, you don't need all the answers to start. You just need one decision. I'm done waiting. Done waiting to feel more qualified. Done waiting to be chosen. Done waiting to feel safe. Because safety and growth don't live in the same neighborhood. If you want to grow, really grow, you've got to be willing to feel uncertain, unprepared, even scared, and still take the next step anyway. You see, the people who change their lives aren't the ones with perfect plans. They're the ones who start moving with messy, imperfect action and adjust along the way. They don't let fear stop them, they let it guide them. They know that if it scares them, it's probably pointing to something they need to face. And here's what you've got to understand. Every time you choose action over hesitation, you build identity. You teach yourself that you're someone who follows through, that you're not a talker, you're a doer. And that changes the game. Because once your identity shifts, the waiting ends permanently. You no longer need motivation to act. You become the kind of person who acts whether they feel like it or not. And that's the difference between people who live in possibility and people who live in progress. So whatever you've been putting off, whatever you've been telling yourself someday about, I want you to realize that someday is nothing more than code for never. There is no right time. There is only now. And the minute you stop waiting and start moving, you start taking your life back. You don't need to see the whole staircase. You just need to take the first damn step. Because waiting doesn't protect your dream. It kills it slowly. And no one deserves to live with that kind of regret. Let me ask you something simple, but real. How often do you wait to feel like doing what you know you need to do? How many times have you said, I just don't feel motivated, and then gave yourself permission to back off, to delay, to shrink back into comfort? We've all done it. But if you're relying on motivation to carry you through the things that actually matter, you're going to lose every time. Because motivation is fleeting, it's emotional, it's based on how you feel in the moment, and how you feel is going to shift constantly. One hard day, one bad night's sleep, one person doubting you, and boom, motivation disappears like smoke. So if you're building your future, your discipline, your health, your dreams on something as fragile as a feeling, You're standing on sand. It will not hold. You don't rise by waiting to be motivated. You rise by becoming disciplined, by doing it anyway, by showing up even when every excuse in the world makes sense, especially then. The people who make things happen, they're not superhuman. They just made a decision. This gets done no matter what. They built systems, routines, structure, not because it's sexy, not because it's fun, but because they knew their feelings couldn't be trusted long term. So they created a foundation strong enough to keep moving no matter how they felt. That's discipline. Discipline is doing what needs to be done long after the mood you made the commitment in has passed. And let's be real. When you first make a decision to change, to level up, to grow, of course it feels good. You feel lit up, you're ready, you're inspired. But what about day 7 or day 37? What about when no one's clapping for you? When your progress is slow, when the hype is gone and it's just you and the work? That's where most people fold because they were chasing the high of motivation instead of anchoring themselves in standards. You don't need more hype. You need higher standards for how you live, how you show up, how you lead yourself when no one's watching. And let me be real with you. Some days it's going to suck. Some days you're going to be tired, uninspired, doubtful. That doesn't mean something's wrong. That means you're in the middle of growth. That's where transformation happens. In the middle, when it's hard, when it's lonely, when it's not exciting anymore, but you show up anyway. That's what separates the few from the many. Most people are committed until it gets uncomfortable, until it's inconvenient, until it doesn't feel good anymore. And then they negotiate with their potential. They say things like, maybe tomorrow, maybe next week, maybe when I feel more ready. And all they're really doing is choosing short-term comfort over long-term greatness. But the ones who change the game, they don't operate on feelings. They operate on standards, identity, non-negotiables. They've trained themselves to follow through no matter what. That's not willpower. That's self-respect. That's saying, I trust myself enough to do this whether I feel like it or not. Discipline is a form of love. It's the love you show your future self by making hard choices in the present. It's the proof that your dream isn't just a fantasy, it's a priority. And here's what happens when you build discipline. You start to believe in yourself at a deeper level because you're no longer waiting for the stars to align. You become the alignment. You don't rely on motivation to move. You are the movement. And that kind of belief, it changes your posture. It changes how you walk into a room. It changes how you handle setbacks. It makes you unshakable. Motivation might get you started, but discipline is what keeps you going when everything in you wants to quit. And if you can master that, you'll separate yourself from 99% of the world who are still waiting to feel like it. So don't wait to feel ready. Don't wait to feel fired up. Train yourself to do it anyway. Train yourself to follow through, especially when you don't feel like it. Because that's where the power is. That's how you become unstoppable. You know what I see in so many people? They're waiting for a hero. They're waiting for someone to come in and make it all make sense. Someone to validate them, guide them, believe in them when they can't believe in themselves. Someone to rescue them from the weight, the confusion, the pain. They're waiting for someone to show up and say, I've got you. I'll take it from here. But the truth, that person is never coming. No one's coming to save you. No one's coming to make it easier. No one's coming to carry the burden that you were built to carry. You've been waiting for a hero, and you haven't realized yet, you are the hero. You are the one you've been waiting for all along. It's hard to hear that at first. It's easier to believe that someone else is supposed to come and fix what's broken, that maybe your partner or your parents or a mentor or a leader will somehow fill the gap, that one day someone will come in with the clarity, the strength, the solution, and you can finally breathe. But here's the truth. The moment you stop waiting for a savior and start showing up as your own source of power, that's the moment your entire life begins to shift. Because when you finally see yourself as the hero of your story, you stop outsourcing your power. You stop giving your energy away to people who were never built to carry your mission. You stop putting your future in the hands of people who aren't living with your fire, your drive, your pain, your purpose. Nobody knows what you carry. Nobody knows the nights you've cried silently, the doubts you've battled, the weight you've carried while still showing up for everyone else. And nobody ever will, not completely. But that's okay, because that strength, that's not meant to be proven to anyone. It's meant to transform you. Being the hero means you show up anyway. It means when things fall apart, you don't fall with them. You rebuild, you rise, you lead yourself out of the dark when no one else has a flashlight. And listen, that doesn't mean you don't get support. It doesn't mean you never ask for help. But there's a big difference between getting support and waiting to be saved. You're not a victim of your life, you're the architect of it. Victims wait, heroes decide. They say, this pain isn't going to define me, this struggle isn't going to stop me, this moment isn't where I end, it's where I begin again, stronger, clearer, more on fire than ever. The day you realize no one's coming is the day you become dangerous. Because now, no more excuses. Now you stop looking for a leader and become one. You stop seeking approval and start creating your own damn path. You take the bricks that were thrown at you and you build something nobody saw coming. You want to change your life? Don't wait for someone to choose you. Choose yourself. Choose to believe that your story is still being written and you're the one holding the pen. Look around. Everything you've survived up to this point was proof. Proof that you were already built for the battle, that you're more capable than you thought, that your worst days didn't break you, they built you, and now it's time to lead. Time to step into the version of you that's been buried under all the fear, the waiting, the doubt. That version doesn't beg, doesn't plead, doesn't pause when things get hard. They lead. They walk into uncertainty with their head up. They take responsibility even when it's uncomfortable. They rise, not because it's easy, but because they've decided there is no other option. So stop waiting to be rescued. Be the hero, the one who refused to give up, who got back up again and again, who looked in the mirror and finally said, I've got me, and that's enough. Let's talk about the hardest thing to face, your patterns. Not your goals, not your dreams, not your vision board, your patterns. Because let's be real, you don't get what you want in life, you get what you tolerate, you get your standards, you get your rituals, your habits, your daily choices. That's the truth. Most people say they want change, they want success, they want peace, they want a breakthrough. But they keep living inside the same emotional loops, the same reactions, the same excuses, the same stories that have kept them stuck for years. And they wonder why nothing changes. You don't break through by wishing. You break through by confronting the truth. And the truth is, your patterns are either creating your power or killing it. The way you talk to yourself when no one's around, that's a pattern. The way you show up when you're tired, when it's inconvenient, when nobody's cheering, that's a pattern. The way you respond to rejection, to failure, to discomfort, that's a pattern. And if those patterns are built on fear, on playing small, on self-doubt, you'll keep living the same life, no matter how badly you want something more. Because the problem isn't your potential, it's your pattern. You don't rise to the level of your vision, you fall to the level of your systems. And the system is always running, every day, whether you're conscious of it or not. So if you want to change your life, you've got to interrupt the autopilot, you've got to disrupt the default, you've got to catch yourself in the act of living beneath who you really are. Every time you say, that's just the way I am, you lock the cage a little tighter. That phrase, that's just who I am, that's the language of someone who's given their power to the past. But who you've been doesn't have to be who you are, and it sure as hell doesn't have to be who you become. You get to evolve, but you don't evolve by accident. You evolve by conscious choice, by noticing when you're running an old script, by getting brutally honest with yourself and ask, is this pattern helping me rise or keeping me small? And look, it takes guts to do that. It takes emotional muscle to look at your own life and admit, I've been the one holding myself back. But that moment of truth, that's the key to everything, because once you see it, you can change it. You can rewrite the story. You can build new rituals. You can program a new pattern. You can upgrade the system and watch everything else follow, but not until you stop defending your limitations. Most people defend their pain like it's a personality trait. They wear their patterns like armor. They say, this is just how I react, or this is just how I was raised, or this is just how life's always been. But that's not truth. That's just practice. And anything you've practiced, you can unlearn. Anything you've repeated, you can replace. But only if you decide to stop identifying with the pattern and start aligning with your potential. You have to raise the standard for what you accept from yourself. You have to stop calling procrastination perfectionism. Stop calling avoidance patience. Stop calling playing small humility. That's not honesty, that's survival. And you weren't built to survive, you were built to expand. So take a hard look. Where in your life are you repeating pain disguised as personality? Where are you rehearsing weakness and calling it just how I am? You are not your patterns. You are not your past. You are what you choose next. And the most powerful moment in your life will be the moment you say, this ends with me. Let me tell you something most people avoid facing. Life isn't fair. It never promised to be. You've been through things you didn't ask for. You've had people walk away, betray you, hurt you, leave you standing in your own storm without an umbrella, and you didn't get to choose that. But you do get to choose what it means now. You get to decide if that pain becomes your reason or your excuse, because here's what I know for sure. Life is going to test you. It's going to push you to the edge. It's going to put weight on your shoulders and ask, who are you really, when it's not easy anymore? And in those moments, you've got two choices: shrink or rise, collapse or climb, be a prisoner of your circumstances, or become the kind of person who uses them. See, growth isn't born in comfort. It's forged in the fire. It's built in the moments when everything in you wants to stop, but you keep moving anyway. That's where greatness is born. Not in perfect conditions, not when it's sunny and smooth and everyone's clapping. No, it's born in the dark, in the lonely, in the why is this happening kind of seasons. That's where the foundation is laid. So if you're in the middle of a storm right now, good. That means you're being shaped. That means life is carving out the version of you that doesn't quit, that doesn't fold, that doesn't hand over their power just because things got heavy. You don't become unbreakable by never being broken. You become unbreakable by choosing to rebuild every time life tries to take you down. But here's what too many people do. They wait for the pain to pass before they start living again. They wait for the healing to be complete before they chase the dream. They think, when things get better, then I'll show up. No, you have to show up in it, right in the middle of the pain, while your heart's still bruised, while your knees are still shaking. That's when it matters most. That's when it counts. Because anybody can be committed when it's easy. Anybody can be positive when it's going their way. But who are you when it's not? Who are you when everything feels stacked against you and nobody sees what you're carrying? That's your defining moment. And the crazy part is no one else needs to see it. It's not about proving anything to the world. It's about proving something to you. That you are not what you've been through. You are not your wounds. You are not your trauma. You are not your worst moment. You are what you choose to build with all of it. Your pain doesn't make you weak. It's the raw material for your power. You just have to stop waiting for the pain to disappear and start using it to rise. Let it fuel you. Let it sharpen you. Let it remind you that you've already survived what should have broken you, and that means there's nothing you can't handle from here. It's not about pretending to be okay. It's not about faking strength. It's about being real enough to say, I'm not where I want to be yet, but I'm not stopping either. It's about showing up broken and still moving forward. That's power. That's leadership. That's ownership. And listen, nobody's coming to do that for you. No one can walk through your pain for you. No one's going to hand you the healing, the breakthrough, the fire. That part is yours. That part is sacred. That part, that's where you meet the real you. So take it all, the hurt, the doubt, the fear, the anger, and build something from it. Use it to rise higher than you ever thought possible. Not in spite of the pain, but because of it. Because the most unstoppable people on this planet aren't the ones who had it easy. They're the ones who decided, this will not break me. This will make me. That decision, that's everything.